are going to practice the shadow technique for the question 1 Lincoln together. We are going to try to imitate or copy whatever we hear from the demo.
Lincoln's apparently radical change of mind about his war power to emancipate slaves was caused by the escalating scope of war, which convinced him that any measure to weaken the Confederacy and strengthen the Union war effort was justifiable as a military necessity. Lincoln's apparently radical change of...
So how do you feel if you think that from the demo is so fast you cannot follow along the demo? You can change here to Pte extra slow version. So the normal version is maybe too fast for you. You can change to extra slow.
Lincoln's apparently radical change of mind about his war power to emancipate slaves was caused by the escalating scope of war, which convinced him that any measure to weaken the Confederacy and strengthen the Union war effort was justifiable as a military necessity.
In my opinion, we should go with this version, like extra slow version, because if you're a beginner or your English level is not that advanced yet, it doesn't matter, you can start like slow, and then later when you have, like when you improve, when your English level is better, you can change back to the normal version. But now we are going to choose the extra slow to shadow. And first of all, I have to talk to you about the 4 key elements that what the shadowing technique involved in. So you have to focus on the 4 most important elements in order to improve, in order to get a very good score in Read Aloud question task, or if you do well in Read Aloud, you are going to get very good score in your PTE speaking section. So what are the 4 keys? The 4 keys are the pause, loss, linking, and weak. So you have to understand that. What does it mean, pause? You can see the red one here, pause. When you see the red sign, you have to stop. You have to give the pause. You have to stop, and then after that you can start to say the next word. You see here, you have pause here, after slaves, after that, after Confederacy, and after effort. The second key element is loss. It's like yellow color. So you see here the T. Apparently, we don't say apparently. Apparently, no, it's so difficult. So many things you have to do. Too many work for your mouth to pronounce. So we just pronounce apparently without the T sound. The T is silenced here, or they say loss. Emancipate. Usually I used to say emancipate, but in rapid speech, or natural spoken English, people don't pronounce T sound. Emancipate slaves. Caused, normally it's like caused, but D is silence, it's loss. So you have to take care of pause, loss, and then linking. Linking is the blue color here. There are so many things that you have to link, but you don't need to do all of this linking or connected speech in order to get 90. But if you can do, please, if you can, you should do. But it's not something that you have to worry too much. Like for example, you don't need to do 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 linking or connected. Just do like 2 or 3 at least, at the minimum. But then when you practice every day, when you practice consistently or regularly, you are going to be able to do the linking naturally. And then the last element is the weak form. Like I told you that English is stress times language. So English has the rhythm or the tempo. Some words you have to put emphasis on, some words you have to stress, but there are some words that you don't have to stress. So you have to speak that words in the weak form, like a little bit less louder than the stress word. The fourth element, which is the weak form, In English, some words don't carry a lot of importance in English sentence. These words shouldn't be stressed in an English sentence. For example, the articles, prepositions, conjunction, and so, but, etc. You can see here what are the words that we don't have to stress, or we have to say it in a weak form. For example, about, to, was, by, which, that, was. So if you can take care of all of the four important elements, your read aloud is going to be improved a lot. Your speech is going to flow smoothly, and as a result, you are going to get very good score in read aloud, and therefore in your speaking section as well. Now we are going to listen to Peter extra slow version one more time, and we are going to try to imitate him.
Lincoln's apparently radical change of mind about his war power to emancipate slaves was caused by the escalating scope of war, which convinced him that any measure to weaken the Confederacy and strengthen the Union war effort was justifiable as a military necessity.
Okay, so I will try. Lincoln's apparently radical change of mind about his war power to emancipate slaves was caused by the escalating scope of war, which convinced him that any measure to weaken the Confederacy and strengthen the Union war effort was justifiable as a military necessity. So now I will go through sentence by sentence slowly. Lincoln's apparently radical change of mind. You have to say change of mind. About his, this is linking as well, about his war power to emancipate slaves. We don't say about his war power to emancipate slaves. You just say about his war power to, the weak form is to emancipate slaves was caused. Usually caused, but the D is lost. We don't pronounce ed like too strong, too loud. Was caused by the escalating scope of war, scope of linking, scope of war, which convinced him, linking as well, which convinced him that any measure to weaken the Confederacy, and in the weak form you can pronounce like and become in the weak form. Strengthen the Union war effort. This one is effort, not effort. Effort. Was justifiable as a military necessity. So I hope that I was clear in every single detail. Now I'm going to read from the beginning to the end in the normal speech, in the moderate pace like I perform in my real exam, so that you have the clear picture of how you should read, like what is the speed that is appropriate, to perform in the real PTE academic exam. Lincoln's apparently radical change of mind about his war power to emancipate slaves was caused by the escalating scope of war, which convinced him that any measure to weaken the Confederacy, strengthen the Union war effort, was justifiable as a military necessity. Now let's see my score analysis together. Lincoln's apparently radical change of mind about his war power to emancipate slaves was caused by the escalating scope of war, which convinced him that any measure to weaken the Confederacy and strengthen the Union war effort was justifiable as a military necessity.